Good morning. Happy Monday. It is beautiful, a little humid for your weather update, but first we must lock it. This is important. I know. Oh, what is she talking about? No, lock it. Take your mind. I'm serious. Take your mind. Deep breath in. Now, do this in your own space, around your people, or whatever you feel is right. And so what I'm finding, and I'm going to talk this way, I realize, because that's focused. Okay. So what I'm realizing is that in order to truly, and if you don't understand the wellness model, then head to, I got my website rocking, head to the member section. Anyways, there's a picture of the wellness model, and it is a great reference to trying to hit all of those, feed all of them. You know, I talked about that before. So if what I'm saying is intriguing you, just follow along. You know, it's one of those things you have to give yourself time up. Yeah, and you have to listen to me talk and stop what you're doing so that you can truly, neurologically ground. Okay, but first, you gotta listen to my man. Oh, volume's down. Oh, shnikes, I took a picture. Yeah, this is good. Oh, shnikes. How am I the one that's doing this? There's so many kids that know him.
28th, 2025. Paul commends the Thessalonians' faith as the focus of 1 Thessalonians chapter 1, verses 1 through 10. The thought on this passage is as follows. The good news produced a powerful effect upon the Thessalonians. These Christians stood firm when they were persecuted. Paul commends these young believers for their loving deeds, strong faith, and deep commitment to Christ. These characteristics are the marks of an effective Christian. Whenever the Word of God is heard and obeyed, lives are changed. Christianity is more than a collection of interesting facts. It is the power of God for salvation to everyone who believes. What has God's power done in your life since you first put your faith in Christ? Praise the Lord and His Word. Love you and appreciate you. Lord willing, look forward to talking to all of you tomorrow. Christ-like love always from DP.
To be an example, to take in a path, maybe not seeing how you foresee it. It's truly humbling in itself. Now, look at this. I mean, yeah, I'm gonna cry right now because this man, I met him at the FCA, which in itself, you can't deny. There's a cardinal right there. Are you serious? Hey, sissy. But look, he gave me a personalized Kelly encouragement. Find the word. Like, these are the little things, guys. And I have a lot of friends, and I love you so much. And we together are wellness warriors. Because do you have to be an athlete? No. Like, no. A warrior is someone who fights. And they push. You know, that's all I've ever wanted from my patients, from my people. Because it makes me push. That's why I want to be around people who push. Because it makes me stronger. You know, it makes me, but why did I need to get stronger? You know, like, you start asking yourself questions. You know, you start really diving in. And that in itself is scary. I get that. For sure. So here is something that will help.
Chapter 13.
Oopsie. Son of a gun. Why?
Therefore, since we are surrounded by
Oh,
so
son
great a
of a
cloud,
gun. At least it's entertaining.
trials of life.
There we go.
Steve Becker.
Ready. A man who endures trials is blessed, because when he passes the test he will receive the crown of life that God has promised to those who love him. James 1:12 said, at 13 years old Ryan knew exactly what he wanted to do when he grew up. Just like his father, he was going to be a major league pitcher. He worked hard, day after day, to make his dream come true, but often fell short. He wondered if God could really build a dream and a passion so big in his heart and let him fail. Fast forward several years, and it's evident that God had bigger and better plans for Ryan Hall. A world-class Olympic marathon runner and American record holder for the half marathon, Ryan has truly been blessed by God. God asks us to consider it a great joy, my brothers, whenever you experience various trials. James 1:2, this is often the last thing we want to do when experiencing tough times. It's important to notice that he uses the word joy and not happiness. There's a big difference. Joy comes from a relationship with Jesus, and happiness is a short-term earthly emotion. This challenge seems big, but the promise, James 1:3-4, that comes afterward is simply amazing. So that you may be mature and complete, lacking nothing. What a promise. I'm sure 13-year-old Ryan struggled with not knowing what God had planned for him. But in enduring to follow God's plan, Ryan matured in his walk with the Lord and was blessed for his obedience. His running has given him amazing earthly success along with countless ministry opportunities. So consider it joy. God's got a plan for you too. Go. What kind of trials have you faced recently? What was God trying to teach you? Have you seen God's blessings after a trial? Work out. James 1:2-4. Romans 12:12 overtime. Lord, help me see you in the midst of my trials and replace my frustration with your joy. Amen.
Blessed is the man who remains steadfast under trial. For when he has stood the test, he will receive the crown of life, which God has promised to those who love him.
Okay. Now that gets take it for where it is. Now we are going into the next one. Go.
Today I am discussing feelings. First, what are feelings? Feelings are emotions. Neuroscience tells us this. Okay? But, see, it is important to elaborate on why you feel a certain way and how you feel a certain way. And it doesn't necessarily mean that it has to be a right way or a wrong way, but you need to say it, right? You need to say it, and you need to say it as if with full confidence and knowing where that confidence stems from. It can stem from many different places. It can stem from so many. But when you truly want to embrace on true strength, true mental strength, true spiritual strength, true wholeness and wellness and whole physical strength, and then you really, really have to dig. You have to dig deep deeper than you thought you could ever imagine. This is not easy. And whoever tells you that it is, they're lying. They are not, or maybe they haven't embarked on their own journey. But if you truly want to go on a different kind of journey, a wellness journey, one that will build, not only build a warrior's mentality, but one that will replenish. You see, when you're a warrior and you're always fighting, because when you're a survivor, and sometimes we are forced to be survivors, okay? In life, sometimes we are forced to be survivors. This sucks. There is not one part of this on this life that doesn't loss. In my personal experience, has been very difficult to wrap my brain around. I've lost many people. You know, this disrupted my wellness model. You know, and of course, who wouldn't? And you know, to actually understand and apply, it takes grit and strength. And you know, it's at first it was easy for me to do the physical part, right? And then it was the spiritual. And then it was both taken. And then you start over and over and over and over. See, the cycle will continue unless you stop. Breathe. Breathe in through your nose. First, lip, breathe out. Think about having to blow up a balloon. That initial to activate in our breath and our core. The fact that you don't even need to see me. The fact if you listened to my words, you can do it with me. That's auditory comprehension. I feel like we use our visual input a little bit too much than we need. What if we train audio? Just audio. Listen. How long when you make your expiratory phase without force, slow, control. Sympathetic overdrive is, in a nutshell, something that happens when we go into what we all know as fight or flight, right? It's our natural reaction. It's our human response. also have a parasympathetic. Parasympathetic, meaning peace. One is your shout. One is your peace. There's simple things that our bodies can do. And you can call it science, you can call it whatever. You know what I call it? I call it God is a scientist. Can we please acknowledge the fact that God is a flippin' scientist? He has been from the very beginning of creation. You can't be a creator without being a scientist, because that kind of goes together. Some kind of science. It doesn't have to be anatomy. It can be chemistry. It can be chemistry. I learned chemistry one way over my head. This coach was so smart. I think it's an SHG coach. So smart. Holy mackerel. Way over my head. I see now where people are talking about me. So, I realize we must simplify. Simplification doesn't necessarily mean dumbifying. No. It's understanding better. I love simplifying. Because simplifying, who doesn't love to understand anything better? Hello. Duh. Everyone loves to understand better. I digress. I apologize. But for me, in my own, we all have our own journey, right? You gotta go through your own shit, okay? First of all, everyone has their own journey, their own staircase. First, imagine that when you are born, when we're baptized, when we're whatever, we're not gonna make this we're not gonna make this complicated. Chromosome, you can go chromosomal level, you can go sperm and an egg, you can go through the ovulation cycle. I mean, the reproductive organs just in themselves is a scientific, to make I digress again. I think I understand where I lose people. Do not oversimplify this. You were created. You were put on this earth. You wake up every morning and you stimulate both. All of your brain by breathing, by activity, thinking, understanding those two mental aspects. And to be able to teach that to others, I'm seeing now as a gift. And my own understanding of this wellness model in mine is not perfect. Holy crap. Guys, first of all, I want this to be known that this is, for sure, me being open and honest. Am I doing it? I am starting to understand the right way to do it, okay? Was I doing it the right way prior to, in my other years of, growth and years of development? Hell no! Because I was developing to where I am now. Where I am now. But then, not even in 5 minutes. Take that time to Did you survive? If so, yes, congratulations. Keep rocking it. My good coaches continue to inspire me. See, I have always surrounded myself in coach love and knowledge. There are so many different kinds of coaches too, is what I'm saying. And to just be able to understand how to coach. And there's many different tactics. And to really understand the research behind it, and how it is implemented, and what age you implement what, and there's different mentalities and expectations and preparation for that mentality. You know, you can't just go into something without not knowing, or can you? If you have a fully open mind to just know. I think that's why all my people really like to, just work out with me. Because they never knew what to expect. But at the same time, they knew during that time they would be challenging their body. They would be thinking. They would be listening, not just to my words, but to music, to motivation, to taking in air, to take in blues and greens and these calming, but yet to have energy through your auditory systems, to basically have both aspects of the central nervous system be stimulated in itself as science. Because when you deep breathe, but yet at the same time tell your brain to mentally push, to tell your feet to go faster, you're fighting two different worlds, but you control that. Neurology, to me, is how I get through life. To understand how the brain works in itself is science. And to appreciate that, and to now be able to apply it to and understand that there's been models in science, and these scientists of scientists, and researchers of researchers. And this is the whole, it just makes me understand, being the first doctorate program in my occupation, in my field, being the first doctorate physical therapist program from Maryville University, and saying that with pride, and saying that with not authority, but with guidance. I have never, ever introduced myself as Dr. Kelly, Dr. anything, because I was always, in a time, a doctor was an MD. At that time, there weren't all these different specialties because we didn't know, so we didn't divulge until we did. And then we understand there's different specialties, and then we understand that from those specialties go into even more specialties and even more specialties, and things that you wouldn't even think would go together, that application. Well, they do. And to understand that model is so cool now. And to be able to have opportunities to teach that is really cool. But to do it in ways, I'm still confused. The girl's still confused on the implementation.
Lori, I have to do this.
Because youth need to be outside and feel the ground and connect. They can't just rely on their auditory comprehension. No throwback. Throwback. Okay? I'm having a lot of those lately. It is the coolest thing ever, too. Eventually, this one will hopefully make their way, but this one I think for sure will because, again, I have had loss in my life. Last week, another loss. This is something that happens. And it's gonna happen through life. Because when we love, when we love, no, on this earth, you will lose. But you'll see again. But you will not get to. I know you will not get to. Unless you, and it's not about how you believe. Unless you do good. Unless you use your strength, your understanding, your knowledge, your gifts for good. Simplicity. Yes, is science complicated? Are there specialties of specialties? 100%. But the wellness model really does simplify health. And to see all of the research behind it and to start following other researchers and to see that, oh man, the power of knowledge and the power of connection, and believe it or not, the power of social media, whether or not I want to admit to this fact that social media will be my answer to all. It will. Because when I truly let it flow, let it just go. I think it would impact people. But when you realize when you've been through anything, trauma, tragedy, hardship, you've been through it over and 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 over. You start learning how to go, and the why. Why did that work? Why didn't that work? Application of science is fascinating in the wellness model. Of course, this is my own pilot. It's done on my own body, my own well-being. But to understand that is very. I don't know when I'll share, but I will. For today, that's enough for me. So I truly want you to embark on something. Knowing that you make a difference, and it's your choices, and it's your decisions. That is something that you have control of. Everyone wants control. Know that the human brain, and it was beautifully stated that this FCA, Redcap, he put something together. I was invited to. I was so grateful. Along, there's just coaches all around me helping me out through this, and I just truly appreciate bigger than what our brains can wrap their head around. The human brain, if we can tap in to all aspects of the wellness model, and feed each one of them. See, feed it. How do you feed it, Kelly? You feed it through. It depends on which part. See, you have to break down each aspect: the spiritual, the physical, the mental, emotional, social, occupational. See, these are all parts that need to be established. And once established, then we have to feed. There's so much. It gets overwhelming. Don't let it. Take a breath. There are ways that we naturally can survive with happiness, and even through turmoil and trauma. There's things that God's blessed us with, and it's you again. It doesn't have to be faith-filled. To me, it is becoming that way. It doesn't have to be that way for you. But you can make a difference just by your choices. That is something you can control. That is something you were destined to have. Destined to do. Is make a choice. We all do. What choices are you going to make today to not only better your own actions, but to make a difference in someone else's life? Because your actions can do that. Actions really do speak louder than words.
Good morning, Cody. You want to join me with some enlighteningness of life? Said you want to join me in some enlighteningness of life?
I gotta go to work.
Knock him dead! No, we're going to talk about core. Because I keep getting this a lot. Okay. Guys. Sometimes the core doesn't fire if this is really stiff. If your back gets, if you crunch, so say you are, you feel like that's all you got, build it. Build it so you can actually fire your mid. And like right now, my shoulders are in my ears. So I'm just gonna build myself from here, right? So once you build from here, look at your ribs. Look at your rib angle. You don't want it to flare. Tuck it in. And as you tuck it in, breathe out. Now, hold that. Deep breath in. Okay? Now, the zipper. Okay? It's gonna be, yes, we're going here today. The zipper. It is like you're holding your pee and your poop at the same, like think of a zipper all the way from that hole to that hole, and you're gonna hold on to it. That's your pelvic floor. That's important, so important. And you're holding this position, and you should already be burning. Like that's normal. We should be burning 100%. Then try to lift one arm. Hold it. Bring it back down. Hold it. Up. Lost it a little bit. See, sometimes we make things a little bit too difficult. And it's just more about brain, body. What is your understanding? When I lift my arm, my hip does. That's not good. We're going to get our little guys engaged here. Okay? But also, as you go under, keep that contraction to lift. Most people just let it go. You gotta keep it shrink. Now, if you would like a lot better tutorial, guys, YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, everything. I don't know why people were wanting exercises for me. They're everywhere. I mean, literally, I think I just figured out the hashtag. Lexi made fun of me. Shit, what do you mean you don't know there was a search in Instagram? Well, girl, I didn't know. Now I know. I told her about Mel, like my wonder. Okay, Mel Robbins. Yes. I don't know. I just call her Mama Mel. Mama Mel has just appeared in my life, just in a thread. And oh my gosh. So then I Spotify, I YouTube, and she is a researcher that actually uses evidence-based material to support her, you know, what we have issues with, you know. So that, whoa, saved me a ton of time. And then I found this other scientist that she's actually more of a comedian, but she is smart. And I relate to her because I'm not exactly like smart, but I'm entertaining. I feel like that helps, you know. Yeah. But anyways, her name's Brene Brown. Oh my gosh, this whole world of accessibility. Oh my gosh, why am I just now figuring this out? But you know, I needed to do it the right way first. Yeah. Now we're spreading the word. Okay. I think I'm done for today. But if you wouldn't mind, just, you know, if you feel someone that could use, that says, oh, I'm stiff, or oh, I'm it's just, or oh, my, you know, like, having a hard time, have them just listen and move outside to something that in my feed there, because I do believe it's gonna help. I hope it does. There's been a couple people that have reached out that really said that it's thank you, which is awesome. But thank you guys for being awesome, and you know, like, just keep promoting the movement. I'm loving all of these different ways to incorporate movement. Oh my gosh, it's phenomenal. It's just everywhere. And now that I understand, I know how to find other people's stuff. That's good. That's real good. But know that you make a difference. Just the little things, they matter. They totally matter. Have a good day.